He got problems, she got problems, only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to a watch with me. We haven't done one of these in a long time because the things that I usually do watch with me for is either out of season, like they haven't come back, so we haven't had, well, I haven't really been watching anything, but this I figure will be a good watch. This is the life and the death and life of Lamar Odom. I think I said that right. So we're gonna watch that and get into like all his business, and then yeah, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
I've got a new exhibit in the room that lamarodom OD'd on.
So you thought it was a good idea to put the bed that he overdosed on as an exhibit? You what? Like,
The location of one of the most
Looks like some kind of white stuff coming out of his mouth.
from the love ranch.
Odom in his lab.
Odom found unconscious at a brothel.
12 strokes and 6 heart attacks. Dead for 3 days. I made it though.
Now out. 25 years of coaching. Breath, one mind.
baby, I love Phil Jackson. I love Phil Jackson. I loved how he coached. I love how he did his thing on all the teams that he coached. Not just the Chicago Bulls because he coached Michael Jordan. No. My favorite person on the Chicago Bulls was actually Scottie Pippen, to be totally honest. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah, like Phil Jackson just went in after on all the teams that he coached. He even coached, if I'm not mistaken, one of the Olympic teams too. Anyway, but every team that he has coached, he had always turned around and they end up being like a winning team. So I love Phil Jackson. I love Phil Jackson. When he first started coaching the Bulls, they was giving that man a hard time because he had like different ways of coaching. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was more like pay attention to your internal and then you can perform externally. Like, you know how he's saying, like, breathe in, breathe out type situation. That's real. Like, it all flows. Balance.
There's a certain sense I want players to have about.
Say that it's transformation.
He was burning sage. He was burning sage. Okay. Okay.
On again, now off again relationship between Kobe and Shaquille O'Neal.
Dog ain't me, then the house won't get guarded.
He wants to win rings with.
Yeah, I issue with you, Kobe. You was a great shooter and everything, but you would not pass the ball. You was a ball hog, sir. You was a ball hog. That was your issue in the beginning, and you was young. So, I mean, yeah.
Trade a little bit and long-term part of
And Miami O'Neal, one of the
Kobe's there.
give LA's roster a very
Team, and there's some unknowns.
It's like, damn, it look good over there.
Because the Clippers suck. They have always sucked. Anytime that I've been watching, they have always sucked. So, it looked good over there was for real because they always was losing. Always had the worst record in the NBA during the time that I watched it.
Accommodated to kind of the Los Angeles Clippers. Substance abuse or whatever they only traded from them to my intensive training.
Last name, alphabetical order. Like pretty much first day.
He has the type. Because she looked like Chloe to me. So he has the type. I ain't tripping. Most men have a type anyway. Most of the girls, like, if you look at their females, they all look alike. They all, like, yeah. They all have, like, a similar situation to them. Most men have types, chill.
He was always on his own time. Somebody that he knew too. I was like, don't cry around. This is why you need to give me a chance.
That was your friend, or that was somebody you knew? Because if that was your friend, you was like, don't worry about him, give me a chance. That wasn't your friend. But it was just somebody that everybody knew. Okay, cool. But if that was your friend, you told me, don't worry about him, give me a chance. That wasn't your friend. Like, you backdoored your friend. I'm just saying.
He knew how to charm. I'll just say that.
Facts from the Brooklyn, his high school picture to Queens in 1957. Lamar when she was 22, Lamont. And I said, Kathy, that's a sissy name.
Now, leave it up to your family. How you gonna tell that lady that was a sissy name? There is nothing wrong with the name Lamont. That is not a that is not a sissy name. Leave it up to your family to tell you something. But nah, Auntie, Titi, that's not a sissy name. Boy, it be your own people. It be your own people.
Let me name him Lamar. It was a big wedding. An estranged marriage.
He gave into drugs. You know, so in January and
Kathy. She passed away when Lamar was 10.
Listen, losing a parent, you never get over that. Especially somebody who's like there. You never get over that. You never get over that. I don't care how old you are. You never get over that. So I couldn't imagine him going through that at 10. And I went through it when I was an adult, way past an adult, had a child, everything. Like, that is an experience that it changes you. It does. It changes you for the rest of the time that you're here. People would tell you like, oh, it gets better with time. You learn to live with it differently. Like anything that causes trauma, you just learn to live with it differently. You don't get over it. You just learn to live with it differently, to be totally honest. And every day is the process. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have days where it's like you're angry. Like, it's a process, and you don't understand it until you're actually going through it. I've had friends whose mom had passed away before mine, and I had empathy, and most of the time I didn't try to force my feelings on it, because I didn't know how it felt. But there were certain things that they would say, and I'd be like, oh wow, like you don't know until you actually go through it. Like you have an understanding after you go through it. When you're part of that club, it will make sense. It's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different vibe. So I couldn't imagine for him to go through that at 10 years old, because yeah. I'm a grown ass woman, and this process is still, it's processing. It's processing. It's definitely a journey. It's a journey.
Because she's my angel. Playing the ninth grade, he was like 5'10". After that,
This guy, Lamar,
about attention. I
I was
didn't.
becoming like more known, and I ended up getting pregnant with Destiny. Mind you, we're like 19, 20 years old. Obviously, he was just introducing people, and I was just like, hi. Lamar wanted him to be the godfather.
Draft pick in the country.
to the 1999 NBA draft,
he told me any team but the Clippers.
Lamar Odom.
I told y'all the Clippers had a bad reputation because they suck. But usually the team who did the worst was the ones who usually got the first draft pick, because the point is for you to bring somebody in that's gonna make your team better. Boy, you was drafted. You better be glad you was drafted. Some of anybody but the Clippers. You got drafted. But I get it.
Didn't want him to go to LA. Hey, like, hot mess. He was like, you need to come with me. We're family, and I'm gonna go. I remember I flew out with his aunt, Janine.
And I saw how things was going. I said,
I was like, wow, these people are like people that I see on the TV. That this was gonna be his schedule, more busy and more stressed. And so I got pregnant. Exhausted because he'd be up like every 2 hours to myself. Appreciate this because a funeral. I remember oversleeping, making breakfast for the kids. Or so I was like, can you believe Jaden's still sleeping? Like, I just remember like turning him over. Just remember my mother just screaming like, 111, grab him up like a football, like a woman doctor. I'm sorry. It was just a shell.
So, losing a baby is hard. Even when you have a miscarriage, that is hard on a woman because you feel like it's your fault. You feel like you're not equipped enough to carry your baby full term, and you start questioning like, what's wrong with me? What happened? What did I do wrong? You have so many questions, and that is also something that you just don't get over. It follows you over and over and over. I've had multiple miscarriages that I most of the time never discuss. And the very last time that I was having a very bad day and wanted to discuss the miscarriage actually with the father, I was told it was an asshole way of sharing the information. So yeah, I don't know, like it's you go through a lot of emotions. So I couldn't imagine her feelings after, because I'm pretty sure she constantly goes back and forth through, dang, I should have woke up, dang, I overslept. And she probably was tired. And then you were there for a funeral, and it was like, oh my God, like, dog, like, why didn't I wake up earlier? Like, I couldn't imagine the things that's going back and forth in her head, because losing a baby is long term, just like losing a parent. Like, grief is a lot. It's a lot. But I always tell people, please don't ever beat yourself up. Be honest in those feelings, but don't ever beat yourself up for them. So, anybody going through that? Don't beat yourself up. Be honest in those feelings, but don't beat yourself up for them. And then don't feel like it's your fault, like you did something wrong. It's just sometimes you're just not able to carry that baby. And I always tell myself, like, that baby was needed more in heaven than it was down here.
Sudden infant death syndrome. Not undisclosed, not undisclosed. I was out all night partying. My cousin Sherrod went to go identify his body. Just looked sleepy. Oh, it brings my apart.
I didn't want to go back.
I gotta go back to work. How was that?
People to pity me.
He needed a grief counselor. He had already been through it with his mom. You were back in New York for a funeral because your aunt passed away. And then while you were back in New York for a funeral because your aunt passed away, your baby dies. You got grief all over. And it's like you put up this shell, and it's like, well, I gotta go to work. Like, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's more like, I gotta keep moving, because if I stop and if I turn around and if I kind of deal with it, then I'm gonna have to face that this reality is real. Like, this is real. So I get it. I get in the death back to back to back to back. And how I get it is because it's just how it was in my family. It was like from 2020 to 2022, it was death back to back to back to back to back, which it was very hard for my son than it was for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my son, it really took a toll on Tyler. And he turned to substance abuse. Child, oh my God. Oh my God.
That's supposed to make me feel better. And us not being here is just like, Allah, you're over. Kobe, both something.
A little bit, you know. Where's TMZ?
You're gonna be here, you might as well level up.
Trying to be A-lister.
So we paid her $5,000.
Her fee was $5,000 to host a party. Baby, that's not cheap. Like he said, sorry. I know you're way higher now, but that's not cheap. $5,000 to do a hosting for a couple of hours. That's what y'all don't understand. And I know a lot of people be like, these hoes. Baby, listen. Do y'all not realize? And I am what they considered a micro influencer, meaning like, you know, like I have over 10K, but it's over 10K basically. So I'm considered like the micro influencer, and the amount of money that I could requests for people for me to advertise the lingerie for people to do stuff during that time during COVID. Like if I was the big time, do you not understand? I understand why the influencers really be fighting for their life. Now some of them be doing too much, and I be like, girl, like test the products for real, which is what I learned. Like when I do get products or whatever, like I tell y'all the truth. Like I tell companies, like I'm not gonna lie to them. So a lot of times I miss money because they go places to people who gon' lie to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna say the words that kind of flow over. I tell people quit. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah. So but anyway, $5,000 is not low for her hosting parties back then. That's a good little price. It's a good little price. That's usually like the starting when you just starting out. It's $5,000. To be honest.
I'm not exactly sure how I got that gig, though excited.
I'm fucked for the first night. I was dating the next day, and the next day, she married me.
Hold on. Hold on. Now, I ain't even tripping on I was trying to, because typically when a man see you and he attracted to you, that's literally what he trying to do. And if you gonna let him, he gonna do it. Real talk. What you allow will continue, babe. What you allow will continue. But, y'all wasn't dating long before you asked her to marry you? And her and that girl look alike, regardless of what y'all say. Like, they kind of favor. It's giving off similarity. But, you say the next day, the next day, the next day. I wonder how long y'all was doing this before you asked her to marry you, because did you just do that so you can hit? Because that, to me, it seemed like you just did that because you wanted to hit it. And she didn't let you hit on the first night. So it's like, marry me so I can hit it. Even though you said you didn't know who she was. She didn't know who you was. But it's giving, marry me. I love you so much. So you can hit. That's what it's giving. Just my opinion.
I don't really know the person. They tell me some big balls.
So, y'all were dating for 30 days. A month. And you asked her to marry you. Now I've heard some people be like, oh, we've been only dating for 3 months and I just knew it was going to be a great thing. And I've seen some people last, and then I've seen some people where, it's a disaster. Even though that don't mean nothing, because I've seen people, known each other for years and they'd unalive you and do some crazy stuff. I just read that story about the mayor, her husband unaliving her. And they known each other for a long time. So time stuff don't mean, it really don't predicate nothing, to be totally honest. You just gotta vibe just the vibe. So if he was having a good time and you felt like she was gonna be the best thing ever, hey, at this point, do what you do. Do what you do.
Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom.
And is this a real relationship? And then they said, we want the exclusive of the wedding, of the divorce.
Not the exclusive of the divorce. Because it was 30 days, girl. Like I said, I'm not saying that, time predicates anything. Because as I stated, it can be 3 months. It can be 1 month. And it lasts a long time. Longer than somebody who's been dating for 6 years and then get married and it don't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be that way. But it was kind of fast. And y'all ain't know nothing. He said he ain't know you either. So, I mean, like, yeah, girl, it was kind of fairy tale-ish type situation. And you said you consider yourself level-headed. It wasn't on level. It wasn't on level. It wasn't on level. Just saying.
Yo, come on now.
He's very honest about his life.
Baby mother didn't let them come to my wedding.
I'm gonna get married, in front of, 100 people.
His daughter is absolutely gorgeous. Her eyes are beautiful. But you can tell that they are level-headed because of their mama. You can tell the kids are very level-headed and they get it. It's like, I don't even want to be in the public eye because she's a Kardashian and you are going to be in the public eye if you date, marry, whatever, side chick, situationship, whatever. anything dealing with the Kardashians, you're gonna be in the public eye. So I get it. I get why they did not want to be there. And he's saying baby mama, but she probably asked the kids, and the kids was like no. And a lot of times, most of the time, like the non-custodial parent thinks that when you ask your child something and you come back and be like, well, yeah, they don't want to, they think it's you. And then most of the time it ain't even most of the time, all the time it's the kid. It's like, you won't even be around my kid to know that he's this smart to think for himself, or they're this smart to think for themselves. My kid can definitely think for himself, and I got blamed for it all the time, when most of the time I would ask and he'd be like, yeah, no thank you. Yeah, anyway, so I get the kids' sentiment. It's like, you only known her for 30 days.
Married to somebody in 30 days.
It was a Hollywood thing. NFL. So
Yeah. And I'm in like the back table.
None of us can know that. Okay, hold on. None of us.
He was 9 years old.
Kitty telling all the business. Auntie telling all the business. Auntie saying, baby, none of us was invited. No, babe. You weren't invited because it wasn't his wedding. It was hers. It was hers. It was her show. It was her situation. So yeah, that's why you weren't invited. And Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, he was at the back table because it was her wedding. It had nothing to do with him. It was 30 days. I'm pretty sure, who was that? They were on E at the point, I think. E was probably playing for the wedding. So she ran the show. What do you mean? This wasn't about him. It was about her and the Kardashians, which is why they kept saying, like, every man who give it them, it's a curse. It's not gonna last long. Because literally, it's a business type situation. It really wasn't about love.
That night, and he came and talked to me for 2 hours.
And I'm just kind of like watching how she live and their lifestyle.
People, they got mad connections. None of the guests was 60 or 70 years old.
I would say, I want to say something.
To build a marriage for the ages, you are husband.
I wasn't really ready for that power.
To leave because the camera crew's coming and we're gonna.
Oh, you didn't really have to worry about her. You had to worry about you. You were strategic. Gotta give you points on that, boy. Gotta give you points on that.
Lamar was not my idea. Spread really thin. At the time, I thought there were so many Kardashian shows.
I was on TV twice every Sunday.
Be on reality TV for a long time. Just to watch the Kardashians.
Which is kind of cool. It's weird.
Oh. Remember, I don't know, you know, I don't know, because it might be neighbors who's peeking in, but remember I said, money doesn't change who you are, it just exposes who you really are. Y'all thought she was the puppeteer and he was the puppet. Oh no, he was the puppeteer, she was the puppet. Well, goddamn.
I look forward to Christmas and I was like,
All of LA was at these games. Coolest time of my life. It really was.
now we get the sand carpet. Better marriage.
Rock star kind of lifestyle.
I was like, I wouldn't say oblivious to it, but like, and it worked.
I remember when he won the first moment with him and be a part of it. We're gonna be here tomorrow. We're going to the parade. In there, we were knocking on the door, and there at the time got his butt up, and they're like
onto the bus and just wanting to win a championship.
watching, like, wow, he ended up going. It was terrible.
Hold up. So your kids wanted to go with you to the parade and you didn't show up? You didn't come? You ignored them and then went to the parade? Without your kids? Interesting. Now I can understand, like, maybe, you know, you and your wife I won't say wife, not because that would be Chloe. You and your baby mama may have been beefing, but it seems like what is given that she didn't interfere with that relationship, so you just left them hanging. You just left them hanging.
Rejection from a parent is partying and using.
That first hit of cocaine that I took was, I was with a woman, she was with her husband. You know, if I used cocaine for a month straight.
He's the best 6 man in the league this year. That was here to see it.
When you hurt somebody, you don't get to dictate how they heal. There's no guarantee that you're going to be invited back into a person's space or life after you've hurt them so many times. And that's the thing about drug abuse and all that other stuff. Once you come down and you're healing and you're clean or whatever, and you're not willing to face all of the BS that you did to people while you were high, or use that as an excuse, you don't get to dictate or tell people, oh, I should be able to come in or pull myself in, or you know what I'm saying, like, you should love me how I was previous. No. And so now that you up, because you hurt your kids and you want your kids to be there, your kids are not effing with you and not fucking with you because you literally left them hanging. Even though you were partying, you was drinking, and you was high or whatever, your kids remember how they felt, not what you did. And even though you may have said, oh, I'm sorry, or, oh, like, you know, it won't happen again, you want them to show up for this, they not even gonna take the chance.
Well, I sure know I'm thankful, man.
A recreational party, sure, but he disappeared. I don't want to say blamed a lot, a dark situation. And
on drugs, there's always going to be embarrassment that I can't really remember because of where I was at that time of my life. Role that you can't really control.
He lost track of what reality was in life.
I failed 4 classes. Like a repercussion. About it, like cheating on my wife on TV, and then affairs. So these are these
people that they could party for 6 months and go to work.
And I'm getting high out of my fucking mind, contacting my wife.
And then out of the blue, I get this call, and I'm like, hi, I've been fucking your husband, just wanting money and drugs, and you come and pick him up. She had suspicion, but I never...
Girl, you knew. A woman knows. You don't even have to be famous. A woman knows. You can look at your man and tell he maneuver different. He do certain things when he's starting to pull away. You know. And it's up to you to decide if you want to maneuver and walk away. Just like old girl. She wasn't even his lady, but she was like, I want to get off this ride. I don't want to be bothered. Can you come get your man? You knew. And it's up to you whether you're going to continue to allow certain things or you just gonna stop it. And that's not just with cheating, that's with everything, anything in life. It's like, I'm not gonna take this treatment. I'm not gonna continue to be on the merry-go-round. I'm not gonna even attend the circus. I'm not gonna pay the clown. I'm gonna walk out. The admission is done. I'm done with the show. It's enough for me. I'm getting off the merry-go-round. I'm leaving the playground. Y'all got it. What you allow will continue. Period.
Hey, line of cocaine. Oh, man, I see Chris Jenner. Word out in the streets hit like, you think you need professional help? No.
During this interview, you are either used to doing the little situations, because I told y'all, like, lived with the coca head, honey. So you keep putting at your nose. It's like, are you using now? Are you so used to doing it? During the time when you was using, that's what you know, it's like a self-soothing mechanism type situation. Because, yeah, that's what it's giving. But interesting, like, all this time, like, we were thinking, like, well, I won't say it was Chloe's fault, so to speak, but because you were introduced, like her being a Kardashian, you were introduced to different people, and those different people, it literally like expand who you already were, literally. Like, you wanted that. She wanted from this, like, she wanted to be more in the background because she was already doing reality shows and like the fairy tale, which most women are already, that's what we were raised and groomed with, like this fairy tale and knight in shining armor, and this man is gonna come in, he's gonna love and he's gonna protect you, and and most of the time they don't even know what's going on with themselves. They ain't even, you know what I'm saying, got themselves together or whatever. So yeah, like, it's interesting to see the point of view where it's like you were the culprit and she wasn't. Interesting. Interesting.
You can't keep up a facade anymore.
More happening. The drug buildup was getting worse and worse. Looking for him in alley, clean up after. I was such an enabler and protect him.
That's your husband, and a lot of times we feel like, or we're groomed to believe, like, with all this stuff we go through, we showing our loyalty to him, and the whole time, like, he dragging you down the drain, child. Because literally, you're right, you was an enabler. Instead of cleaning up and making him face the fact that, yo, I need to move on with my life because this is not going to end well for me, because it is a very toxic type situation. It's a very type draining situation, and then when they get clean, they start blaming you for they start coming at you because you start telling them all the stuff that they did while they was high. I've lived this stuff on repeat, and I'm telling you, at this point, I couldn't even imagine the stuff that she was going through, because it's on a higher scale, because he had more access to pure forms in high amounts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I couldn't imagine, like, you trying to clean it up because you trying to, you know what I'm saying, you want to keep this lifestyle, or you want to keep where it's like, you know what I'm saying, my name clear from it. But in reality, like, that's your husband, and he attached to you because you married him, girl. But yeah, at least you know you were an enabler. And she was like, oh, I didn't know. You knew. Girl, you knew you was an enabler. You knew. That's why you was cleaning up stuff. You knew.
Such a responsibility to cover this up.
What's done in the dark comes out in the light. I don't believe you. We can let you in. Right? We can kick you out.
And if I lose it, where are we going to live? What are we? I had the show, but we weren't like making money like that. Horrible about myself.
Hold up. Hold up. So y'all had Keeping Up with the Kardashians and wasn't making money like that? They weren't paying y'all like that during that time? You had multiple shows. You had multiple shows. You had Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and you had Courtney and Khloe Takes Miami. And you had the store. You wasn't making money like that, which would really put a light on why y'all feel the way that y'all feel about Kim, because Kim was banking. Kim was banking without the show. Y'all wasn't making money like that. E wasn't really paying y'all. Shut up. You're right, because that would explain why y'all did Girls Gone Wild. Yo, that would explain why y'all did Girls Gone Wild. You're right. Y'all wasn't making money like that, because the white people didn't like y'all. Y'all was looked at as trash. You're right. Y'all wasn't making money like that. Dang. But wait, y'all did Girls Gone Wild when y'all first got on the scene. When you was dating him, I could have sworn y'all was making money. I could have sworn y'all was making money. Well, looky. Just because you was on TV don't mean y'all was making money. You wasn't making money like that. Kim was, and then maybe that was our confusion, because Kim was banking, because Kim was making money and doing like appearances and stuff, and then she was also dating like athletes or whatever. So Kim was making money. Y'all wasn't. That's why. So that's why it would be an issue when Kim be like, oh, I don't want to do the show no more. And y'all would be like, well, what we gonna do? What we supposed to do? Now it makes sense why y'all jealous of her. Because y'all jealous of her. Why I be damn?
My first real love. Of course you're like this, and now let me try to fix you. I didn't sleep for years.
Had an enormous amount of power in the city. I was the shit.
Buddy said your wife was just as popular as you was. Snooker Bunny, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. You only got major popular because she was your wife. You was cool for who you was, but you weren't majorly popular until you got with your wife. Snooker love. Like, she was just as popular as you. No, babe, she was way popular than you. You got the popularity because of her. You know what I'm saying? And keynote, white women, when you leave, you will be fine. You will be fine. You will be fine. Y'all get bells and whistles and extra additives and all that other stuff where you ain't gotta fight your way. You will be fine. You will be fine. Well, I mean, back then, because the next it would be Sunday. Y'all will understand what I'm saying. Y'all will be fine. Y'all be fine. Y'all will be fine. Y'all always bounce back and fall on y'all feet. Cause you're a white woman. I'm just saying, y'all get more advantages than any other people. Anyway, but I mean, sir, like you could tell, like, yeah, the TV and all that stuff was going to your head because, sir, you were popular because of her. Didn't nobody know nothing about you like that? Yeah, you were on the Lakers, but your popularity grew because of her.
Listening to the radio. It was like, how does the radio know? Just traded somewhere else.
Maybe I rub people the wrong way, but it's tough, man. It's tough.
This trade was monstrous.
I was surprised.
I've just never seen so many drugs.
Buddy, you were the sixth man. You were not Kobe. You are not the big person on the team. As I was saying, when it comes down to the Jordan Ivy situation, which I knew it was more than just him talking about the LGBTQIA people, which Christians kill me. God is love, but you're going to hell. Y'all use in the name of Jesus Christ for all other stuff besides LGBTQIA, literally. MAGA believes in Jesus Christ and the Bible, but don't like black people. What the? Anyway. So you really thought like you could go on this binge and you feel like you're bigger than the program and they wasn't going to take your job away. You were not Kobe. You're not Kobe. And they weren't going to put up with that. If Kobe, in that circumstance, hypothetically was the one who's doing the binging and cheating on Vanessa, they would have fought that because Kobe was bringing in money, tickets. He was selling the tickets. Nobody was pulling up to LA to watch you. They were coming to watch Kobe. You just happened to be on the team. And the only reason cameras started following you like that was because of Chloe. Just saying. You became more of a laughing stock in a story, not necessarily a star they wanted to follow. Just saying.
For certain painkillers and freebasing painkiller, maybe 4 days just doing drugs or whatever. He was horrible because he was so fucked up and high. We were only there for a few months.
Embarrassing time of my athletic career.
Did crazy drugs.
He don't want to be there.
Yep.
He's miserable.
Even with him being in LA, he was doing drugs. He was on benders in LA. He just thought he was untouchable. So it's not about him going from sixth man of the year. He was before he started doing like the real bad benders, he was practicing in basketball and he was on a high. You thought you was bigger than the program. And so you started doing like these real bad benders. And like, when I tell you coca is no joke and will pull up on you, pull you down, make you think you on a high, make you think you in control, and it will show you, I'm your daddy now. And will have you doing things you have no business doing. And her not facing the fact and telling you from jump, like, you need to get help. This is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. When I'm telling you, like, y'all, ooh. It wasn't about him not wanting to be there. You were in LA and was doing the same thing that you was doing in Dallas. It got worse in Dallas. So even if you were in LA, the fact that you didn't think LA was gonna cut you. You thought you could do whatever you want to do. You can do benders. You can maneuver how you want to maneuver because you know who my wife is. You know who I am. You thought you were bigger than the program. Surprise, surprise.
A few times I had to pump his stomach.
That's my camera, bro.
Last year when my husband was missing with another girl.
And you're going to tell him you need to go to rehab. You're going to say you're getting a divorce. My speech. And he's like, Yeah, let's get the fucking divorce. I don't want the divorce. Lamar left immediately, and I'm never coming back here again.
Girl, and what's really sad in that moment, you didn't even realize that he chose drugs over you. You were upset with everybody else because everybody else told you to say that. When they were trying to get you to realize that you were enabling him and you did not matter, his drugs did. So that's why they told you to say that. It's like either you go to rehab or we get a divorce, because if he valued the marriage, he would be like, you know what, yeah, let me give my drugs up and let me go to rehab. You gotta, and I gotta stay for 3 months. That's what they were really trying to show you. Like, girl, you don't matter. You don't matter. And you were mad at them for telling you to say that, because I don't want a divorce. You should, because literally nothing mattered. Nothing else mattered but the drugs. Nothing matter. All they see is themselves. All they see is themselves. It's like a merry-go-round. It's like you're constantly spinning, spinning, spinning. And when you think they're going to do good, you think they're done. You think they off it. And when they off it and you trying to tell them things, they're going to attack you. You're going to be the problem. You are going to be the problem. Which is why he was like, let's get the divorce. Girl, he chose the divorce so quick because you weren't coming over Coca. Not you. Who? Who? Because he don't see the issue with Coca, because Coca makes him feel good. They were trying to show you, like, girl, you don't matter. You need to run.
I signed divorce papers. I'm gonna get it in.
Dennis Hoff, what I can, and want to turn it into a public bunny ranch. That was the one where the HBO Cat House series was filmed.
I was just about to say, I remember that show. And because I used to be like, this is on TV, but I used to like watch Real Sex on HBO too. And then what was the other one? Taxi? Is it Cab Confessions? Taxi Cab Confessions? Something like that. I used to watch that too. HBO used to have some really good reality shows, like real, like those were like reality type situation. It was real shows, funny. I used to love Real Sex because some of the things I was like, oh, they thought some things. Consenting adults.
The whole thing's been torn down. Prostitution is legal everywhere in Nevada. It's not. His worth was, are you a celebrity?
Wasn't that old boy who claimed he had like this real big, his penis real huge, but wasn't he arrested for sexually assaulting somebody? That the porn star? Because he was on a reality show on VH1 too. That looked like old boy.
Above the D list. Lamar Ranch on Instagram.
911, where's your emergency?
Brothel. If you were spending enough money, we'd put you in that house. I think the last 2 days at that point. So I'm sorry, Richard, come quick. Something happened to Lamar. Thing I remember is the sound. He just expelled. Fluid started coming out of his mouth. It had some cocaine before he arrived at the brothel. Now,
Reload sexual performance.
and she said probably 12. We had to pull up the fitted sheet that he was on the bed. When the sun hit his face and I had one of the corners maybe dead.
So hold up. So according to you, if it's true, because you on here, so according to you and your story in the way events went, he had coca 2 days before coming to the ranch. So the coca wouldn't be the issue. The issue that sent you to the ER is a sex enhancement situation. All this time we thinking it was coca and it was sex enhancement, like the stuff looked like you get from the gas station. And you took 12 and they tell you to take 1? Why were you taking 12? Like Cialis and Viagra is supposed to last for 24 hours. And if it's past 24 hours, you're supposed to call it. Why would you take? It ain't that much cooter cat in the world for you to be taking 12. But the thing that sent you over the edge was sex meds, not coca.
Is in a bad way.
ranch brothel. I had a dream about Lamar that he was dead. Or I call her and she's like, Lamar, my mom came in. She was like, your dad's like in a coma.
Walls were kind of like closing in.
Police report he had liquid coming out of his nose.
Dad was there. I assume Joe just said, don't put him on life support. Turn those machines. I'm like, sorry, Joe. I'm still his wife. He's at $100 at a hotel room.
You know, when they tell you like 2-parent household, man needs to be in the house. And I keep telling y'all that just because a man is in the house or in your life doesn't mean he's guaranteed to be safe. You showed up because you thought that man was on the outs, and literally he was on the outs. And before I even get into that, dreams, warnings are real. Pay attention to your dreams. Just saying. Anyway, but you thought that man was you thought you had a meal ticket. You thought you had a meal ticket. You telling people to turn the stuff off. She asked you, what do you want? You said $100 and some Nikes, and you left. Does that surprise me? No, because you're a cokehead. You're a cokehead. That's what he saw. That's what he saw. He saw how you deal with stuff, unfortunately. Child, listen. $100 and some Nikes. You was gonna turn off the machines because you thought you was gonna get some money. And if she didn't walk in and say, I'm still his wife and I still have control, as I told y'all, you better get that paperwork. You better realize who on paperwork, baby. Cause you better have some discussions. Cause yeah. That's crazy. That was his dad. You know how them fellas still be like, you need a man in the house. Yeah. Sometimes rejection is protection. Most of the time.
Show up for him.
His side. And because of the backlog in the courts, their divorce.
And his lungs collapsed. They were.
God be looking out for babies and fools, cause just because of a backlog. If it weren't for that backlog, baby, you would have been out of here. Cause by your daddy would have said, turn off the lights. Thank God for the backlog, and she had your back. Even after you take her through all that BS, she had your back. Ain't that some ish? Chill.
And Kobe Bryant was there, and he helped me make the decision. Fell into a coma. I can at least say my goodbyes. The world was literally praying for him. Tubed up and everything. He was so swollen. I looked like he was just sleeping.
12 strokes, I think it was 6 heart attacks.
That Chloe had control over that. I had filters. Some of them were drug dealers that were wanting to collect money. Whoever wants to come, I need to authorize them being here.
So they didn't give me the NDA, but they gave it to his whole family. It got Vegas PD came upstairs with 5 to keep the peace, but yet it made it kind of worse.
Now, what I am gonna say is, I think it's more over the top because it involves Chloe and Lamar, but that happens with just regular schmegular people and regular schmegular families. Sometimes I remember Nia had to put certain things into place when her mom was in the hospital because people were doing the absolute most. You know what I'm saying? She had to authorize and set boundaries because of people coming in and out. And just because you family, that don't necessarily mean family mean you some good. And you have to put boundaries into place. So I commend Chloe because it's okay, hold up. I'm letting people come in here and now I'm finding out it's some people who you owe money and now y'all coming in here trying to go through stuff and shake down or do whatever. You don't know what we're doing when I'm not here. Oh, okay, yeah, let me shut this down. So I don't blame her. She did that. That was her big one. Give her props on that. So when I tell y'all, when people get sick or when people die and there's money involved, baby, them true colors come out.
Brothel where Lamar Odom was found unresponsive is speaking out.
Receipt that Lamar signed.
He paid a tab of.
Pop confirmed the video exists, but says the current bid was at 50.
Of The Art of the Pimp, available in books.
When I tell you, y'all think like the little paparazzi type situation is the people like you be like, oh my God, get on my face with the pictures. People will go above and beyond to take your story. They will take your video footage, put their watermarks on it. I went through it last year where literally you had my video taken down and used it as your own. And so you can create views and it wasn't your video. You had my stuff taken down literally. And when I kept appealing, Facebook told me I did not prove that it was me in the video. I had proof that it was my video. Even though it's on all of my social sites, even though I have the exact footage, literally. The original footage. They took it. When I tell you they will go deep down dirty to get footage to create deals for themselves. At this very moment is somebody shadowing my Instagram. Literally. And I noticed how they unfollow people trying to portray like it's their account. Y'all, that doesn't surprise me that you would use that man almost dying, using that as a way for you to promote your stuff and for you to talk, even though that's what he was doing anyway with his own businesses. But the fact that you would use that to promote your book, to get on it to the highest bidder, and they're willing to pay for it because they want to be the first. Exclusive is what they're looking for. Yep. That's the media.
You think Lamar's ready to die if he doesn't get
dressed up as security guards and nurses to try
and he looks around and he says, hey baby,
I'm gonna check my diaper.
great, but it's a long journey.
All the time we thinking it's the Kardashian curse, and the whole time it was you. You were your own culprit. You were your own demise. It wasn't even that girl. It was you. And she helped you get through that. And then went to be with Tristan. Girl, and y'all tripping while she's saying she want to stay single and be celibate.
It's like, oh, yeah, where is Lamar going? Everything's delayed. I rented a home for him. Once you know the smell of crack, I remember slowly tiptoeing, smoking crack, and I just punched. You can't talk? Well, lo and behold, he had a phone. Me, so I can continue this life.
Baby, listen. When he told you at that table, divorce, he already told you who he chose. And I keep telling people, I watch my mama do this 3 times with Nightmare. You gotta tune into my story times to know who Nightmare is. I watch my mama do this with my daddy back and forth. And most of that was the abuse in schizophrenia, not the drugs. The drugs was later. I went through this with my kid. Still the aftermath now. Stuff that y'all don't even know. Because it ain't my place to say. But there's a boundary. And I refuse to let go of the boundary, babe. And so her punching him in the face, totally understand. And you're going to have to make a decision where it's like, I choose me. I choose me. I just slaved in the hospital, back and forth, save your life because your dad was going to let you go on to glory. Going back and forth, paparazzi, putting everything, like she said, she put her whole life on hold. And the only reason I'm still able to help you is because there was a backlog in the court for divorce. And you could barely talk. Well, she said he was playing it. So you could continue the lifestyle. And that's what I'm saying. Like all this time we thought it was her, and the whole time it was you. It was you. You wanted what she had. That's some scary boy.
By Monday, you need.
Khloe Kardashian has filed for divorce.
The way he went to Kobe's last game. He never went to rehab. Sometimes I think these events he uses.
The afterlife is not what people make it up to be. A sex fiend and a drug addict. Did basketball solve my problem? Real sex is a red Netflix baby now. Does this make me an A-list? I'm going to marry somebody in Vegas. I'm joking.
Oh, well, that is the end of the death and life of Lamar Odom. Actually, it was pretty good. That was pretty good. It was great, actually. It gave more insight than I thought. I was expecting this to expose Chloe, when in all actuality it vindicated her, because we was thinking like it was all her fault, and the whole time like this girl is really trying to save him, and he's so busy trying to be a A-lister, like not realizing like you were already blessed. You were trying to be in a certain bracket, in a certain scene in Hollywood life, and it chewed you up and spit you out, literally. And you still feel like you need to accomplish that. Like the stuff that you have already accomplished, you don't feel like it's good enough. And so you need to be a A-lister. I don't even know what that is if you haven't paid attention to Hollywood at this very point. Like nobody's really paying attention to the celebrities like that anymore. So be grateful for what you have. Like pay attention to your children. As you stated, you want to be a coach, work on that. Go back to school. Like life literally is what you make it, is what I tell myself over and over. Life is what you make it. Where you are, how you live, how you show up for yourself. What I continue to tell my kid when I talk, because at this point in time, it's literally all about Angel. It's literally all about Angel. So yeah, life is literally what you make it and the choices you make. Or have you seen life is literally 10% what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. And that is so true. Like how he wanted to be in the lifestyle he had. He was in the A-list arena, so to speak. And you chose to throw it away because you thought you was bigger than the program. And the whole time we was blaming her and it was him. So anyway, yeah, this is pretty good. I actually love it. So y'all can tune in if you got Netflix without me and watch it. Without me commentating and saying my little pieces and spills. But I actually thought this was very good. Whoever put this together was absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad Chloe chose herself for a little while, because then she went with Tristan. Sure. Love is crazy. And him saying real sex, at least he's honest. Like he said, he's a sex fiend. So I don't know. I guess it's a standpoint that I just don't know about, because baby, sex is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but that ain't to the point where it's like I gotta constantly be always on it. But then again, nah, not to the point where it yeah, nah. Sex is good, but it's got to be the right partner. Where you hitting every day, multiple times. It's got to be the right partner. It ain't no every Sally somebody walking by a chat. Anyway. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in real life, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you for watching with me. That was my neighbor show. We done had a time. We done had a time trying to get this video.